So today, the name of the webinar is Holding Happiness, Creating a Keepsake Box. And it is a conversation about grief and loss. If that comes up, we won't hold anyone to that conversation. We hope that we can facilitate a good conversation today. So hopefully everyone has some supplies. The box did get mailed, and if you have the supplies, you're going to have this keepsake box that has a little latch and it opens up where you can put things inside. And so that's how it becomes a keepsake box. And it has some hinges in the back. So you have this. You have some paint, and they're acrylics. So you have these paints. They're acrylics, and there are many different colors. So usually we can just have primary colors, and we do color mixing. So color mixing would be like if we mixed red and blue, it makes purple, or yellow and red, it makes orange, or red and green, it makes brown, or white and red, it makes pink. So if any of those, my favorite color is purple, although I'm really partial to pink and teal. So, knowing that red and blue makes purple, and if we kind of, how much blue or how much purple can really change, or how much red and how much blue can really change the purplish color. So to me, knowing that one is important because purple is one of my favorite colors. So a lot of paints come differently. This one you can get, I believe, at Michael's for less than $6, this set here. And, acrylic paint, it's fine to work with these when you're making something. They have all different kinds. If you were to go to Michael's, they come in all different sizes and different companies, and even some probably more expensive ones. And this one is already color mixed because it's magenta. You see there's still lots of paint in there. You don't really use a whole lot. Okay. So you can buy them in big, even containers that are bigger than this if you want to do something big. Examples. Also in your box, you would have gotten like some paper towels, paper plate. You don't have to have any fancy palette. Like even this one is an inexpensive palette. I think it comes like in a package of 2 or 4 or something like that. And you can reuse them. Since this paint is dry, it essentially will just like peel out. So you can reuse them if you have these. So that's what I have today. And then also in your package, you got some round brushes. Mine will look a little different because I do paint a lot. And I believe you got around 6 and around 10 possibly. So you got round brushes. And they come in all different sizes. So here's 3 sizes, and these are a size 4, size 6, and a size 8 round brushes. Brushes come in all different shapes and sizes. So these ones are flats. These are flats. And this is a 2, a 4, and a 6. So you see, like in painting and brushes, the lower the number, the smaller the brush. This one is a 2. And that one is an 8. And then you'll have, there are also brushes that are to make lines. I don't have one. No, I don't have one over there either. And you'll have some brushes that are like fans. And I do see it. I'll grab the box over there of some existing paintbrushes I have, just so that you know what's available. So if you do find that you like to paint, you can search out those. And I believe like this little brush here is a 1/4 inch angular brush, because you see that it's not straight here at top. And I believe it was less than $3. It's like $2.99 maybe at Michael's. So you can get supplies that are pretty reasonable in price too. What I often do when we're doing watercolors is I'll buy like the Crayola brushes. They work well with all kinds of stuff as well, just so you can know that. What else do we need to have? Oh, we need to have some water. So if you haven't gotten any water when we're done just with this demonstration, then we'll have a minute where you can go grab some water for your paints. So, The box, you can you can do like a base and paint everything one color or several colors. It's a keepsake box, so you want to do colors that you like, that maybe bring you comfort or make you happy when you see them. And then you can put designs. Like this has like a little pillars on it. So you could paint each one of these little things a different color. These sections, a little color, different color. Even the lid. So like there's like a ladder of steps coming up to the top. And so you really could do different colors. And I'll show you some examples. So like here is an example of one that has been painted the base. And you can go back and create something on top or around it. But here's one where I'm talking about where they took and those different steps on the top in that decoration, they painted in different colors. You could do that. And then this has different color for the main body, and then using that highlight red or that kind of brick red on the bottom. And here she can go back, the person that did this beautiful one for me, she can go back and use these same colors and kind of color in different parts of this pillar, the different sections, kind of make it pop, because right now it kind of blends into the background. Okay. And then inside you can keep it the same, or you can prep and color the inside too. And you know, the inside could be like a surprise color, like nobody knows what's inside you but you, right? You can put a special color. And then just to give you an example of what I mean, like you could do a foundation color and then paint something on top. So here you can see this one has trees or a forest all the way around. And this one is still a work in progress too. Does anyone have a particular color they want to see on this one here? And you can write it in the chat, or if you're okay with your voice being recorded, you can go ahead and just shout out color you would like to see. I'm just taking a couple of these and putting them on the palette in different places. So you can see I'm just using like one squeeze. I would say one squeeze of paint. This one is cobalt blue.
Could you do yellow, Antionette, at some point?
Yeah.
Elizabeth requested that.
Oh, let's do yellow. So this one is a lemon yellow. So as you see, as if you went and you got a kit that had a smaller amount of paints, you'll see they'll usually have more basic colors. When you get a kit that has this many, it'll kind of, so it's a lemon yellow. But if you get a kit that has even more, because they'll sell kits that have 24, 36 different kinds of paints, then sometimes you'll have different like variants, different shades of yellow, different shades of red. You know, I'm also going to put in here, Emily, is some yellow ochre. So this one kind of, oops. And then of course I just stick my fingers in the paint by accident all the time too. The yellow ochre. So did I not, look, I didn't talk all about yellow and I didn't even put it on my palette. So just know that we're going to do probably, we're doing the base coat, right? So we're going to use a lot of paint. So I kind of put a lot of yellow. And when I'm doing an actual picture or photograph, not a photograph, but like a portrait or a painting, I use more water than if I'm just covering something as a base. Usually as a base, you want that thicker coverage. And so you would use just the paint from what you put on your palette. And you want to just go back and forth and get out any lines. Yellow is a pretty bright color. I like that. Reminds me of sunshine and spring. That's a good color to use, especially in something that we want to bring us good memories, right? So we would do that. And that's just one coat. If you wanted to get the, the wood grain covered, you could do a couple coats. We could put in some yellow ochre. And we'll kind of let that dry a little. And I like that too, when you use acrylics, you can blend. So it kind of looks like one color turns into another. So you could do that too as well. So now it's starting to remind me a little bit of a sunset. What do you think of that? A little bit of a sunset there. I like that. It's pretty. Kind of giving me ideas because, when we think about the different things that make us feel good, we have places that are like our special places to go. And one of my special places is the ocean. It actually makes me want to, make an ocean scene on the top of my Keepsake box. And then here on the sides, like I kind of went over with blue paint, but I can go over and I can cover that. So then I can make, a decision clearly on what color I want this section to be and what color I want this border to be. So I'm not really concerned about that. Different people who have different opinions on whether white paint should be used or not. I say use whatever you would like to use. So I did put some white in there. I'm gonna go back to yellow. And then if I were to do like yellow and blue and it got really mixed up, like it would start to make green, right? And that's okay because oceans sometimes have green in them. Or like so. Just quickly like that. That could be. And I'm not concerned, like I said, I'm not concerned with how it's looking on the edges because I can go back and I can clearly make that red or blue or black at a later date. So there's kind of what I would do for like a base. And that would be my base color. Now, if I wanted to always clean up your brushes in the water, paint to stay on them. And for paintbrushes, you can get fancy, they sell fancy, which is like soaps that'll wash paintbrushes, but usually just soap and water, like a Dawn detergent, really does protect your brushes too, so you can wash them with that and get them all cleaned and dry them like you would dry, your eating utensils just on the sink. So just knock over my paints that I was showing you earlier. So now it's like, okay, I'm doing something like a sunset, right? So then I think, okay, I can take my round brush and dip it in my yellow paint. I think I put a little bit of white paint on there to kind of make the yellow a little bit lighter. And I also dipped it in my water, dabbed it on my paint, on my paper towel to kind of make the paint a little thinner. And then I'm kind of doing this upside down. So I'm kind of just make a little sun that's going down into the ocean. So it's a little difficult, I think, to do it upside down, but that doesn't look so bad. And maybe a little bit more white to kind of accent it.
I love that, Antionette. I always think of the ocean like that. It always looks like that after a storm when it's
Yeah,
all green.
yeah. So,
Should we start
just the
beginning in a couple
highlights.
minutes just to let all the people who just got here know where we're at?
Yeah. So then there's a little painting I did on the top. Mm. So yeah, so welcome everyone that joined us. We are offering you this activity today called Holding Happiness, Creating a Keepsake Box, a conversation about grief and loss. So our activity is painting. And so I just painted like a little sunset here. And it just came about because someone else wanted us to try yellow. And so we put yellow on there. That's kind of what came up for me. And so today when you paint, sort of pick the colors that bring you happiness or that you like and see what comes up for you. So we have in our kits, we've got a box. We have some paint. We have a paper plate that you can use as a palette. You've got some brushes. I think you got 2 round brushes. I have a 6 and an 8 here. I think you might have gotten, I want to say you got a 6 and an 8 or a 6 and a 10 or something like that. You got 2 round brushes. Today I did use a flat brush and I used a round brush, but really you could use any brush. And you want to make sure that you have some water in a cup, a jar, coffee mug, just some cold water that you can rinse your brushes off until really there's no color coming out on your paper towel. There's no color coming out on those anymore. What else? Here are some examples of some that have been painted. Before we go through that, and I believe we're still recording a demonstration. So if I do ask any questions, you can just put them in the chat. And Emily, oh, I don't think I can open this one. I think they painted inside and then it got stuck. So that'll take a little bit more to open it. So that's what we're doing today. And I think that that's the end of our demonstration.